Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. I'll call to order the Story County Board of Supervisors meeting. Please stand if you are able to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt today's agenda?
So moved.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Basil? Aye. Hens? Aye. Now is the time for public comment number one. This comment period is for the public to address topics on today's agenda. If anyone would like to make public comment and you're in the public meeting room, please come forward, or on Zoom, please raise your hand. And seeing none, we will close public comment. We'll move on to consideration of proclamation recognizing August 31st, 2024 as International Overdose Awareness Day. And Supervisor Basil, would you start us off?
Sure. Whereas International Overdose Awareness Day is recognized globally on August 31st to raise awareness about the risks of drug overdose, promote life-saving tools to reduce overdose deaths, honor loved ones lost to overdose, and acknowledge the grief felt by families, friends, and communities around the world. And whereas International Overdose Awareness Day aims to publicly challenge the stigma associated with substance use disorders and overdose deaths.
And whereas we resolve to play our part in reducing the toll of overdose in our community, which needlessly claimed the lives of 469 Iowa residents in 2022, together with countless more affected forever. And whereas we affirm that the people affected by overdose are our sons and daughters, our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters, and are all deserving of our love, compassion, and support.
Whereas Story County is calling on all communities, the state, and the country to support overdose prevention policies and projects and to work together to end the stigma and silence surrounding substance abuse and overdose. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Story County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim August 31st, 2024 as International Overdose Awareness Day.
I move the proclamation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens? Aye. The proclamation is adopted. Moving on, agency, we have no agency reports. Do you have time to look at the August 20th, 2024 minutes?
I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Basil?
Aye.
Hens? Aye. Consideration of personnel actions.
I'd move approval of personnel actions as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens? Aye. Consideration of claims.
I move approval of claims as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Basil?
Aye.
Hens? Aye. Consent agenda. Is anyone pulling anything from consent? If not, is there a motion?
I would move approval of consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens? Aye. Moving on, we're down to public hearing items. We have discussion and consideration of resolution 25-12, the FY25 budget amendment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the public hearing notice was published in all three papers on 8/15 as required by law. The amendment in front of you increases revenues by $1.1 million, which is about 2.4% from the adopted budget. All of that is grants carried forward or unplanned at budget time, and I can't speak. The expenses are increasing by 5.6 million from the adopted budget. It's 9.2% increase. The breakdown by department is included in your documentation, so we can go over that if you want to, or I assume you had a chance to review it. 55% of the expenses are carry forward ARPA expenses, which we budget and then we rebudget and then we rebudget because we don't get them spent. 43% of the expenses are grants and projects carried forward. So the other minimal percent is some salary, some insurance line item adjustments that I made so that all the departments have enough for salaries. The result, after all this is amended is the general supplemental was budgeted at 34%. The amendment brings it to 33%. The rural was budgeted at 16%. The amendment brings it to 18%. And secondary roads was budgeted at 38%, and the amendment brings it to 52%. Ending fund balances. Were there any questions? At the end of your documentation, it does show what the remaining, I can't get to it. The remaining, or what the ending fund balance looks like for the end of the fiscal year. So there's going to be committed 602.7 for DAPL. Assigned projects for a total of 1.5. Unassigned is 10.2. 25% of the budget is what we budget for. That amount is 7.5. So we are looking good there in funds that aren't assigned to anything. And the rest of the funds are restricted, so.
Any questions? If not, I know this is a public hearing. We'll open the public hearing. If anyone would like to make comment, please come up to the front desk here or online. Please raise your hand to make public comment. And seeing none, we will close the public hearing. That is their motion.
I move resolution 2512.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin,
Aye.
Basil,
Aye.
Hens, aye. Now we're under additional items and discussion and consideration of resolution 2513.
Okay, this resolution amends the appropriations by department that you did at the beginning of the fiscal year. I will probably be coming back to you, I would assume in October with the remaining appropriation because we did mainly 50%. But in order to appropriate the dollars we just amended, I wanted to put those in right now. So this is what the appropriation amendment looks like by department. Any questions?
Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'd move approval of resolution 25-13.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Hens, aye.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Next, we'll move on to discussion and consideration to purchase a 2024 F-150 pickup options 1 and 2. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning.
Morning.
What I have on the agenda is purchase ops for 2 pickups. The reason I put it on the agenda was even though they were budgeted items, they came in considerably higher than what we had budgeted. But little good news since I originally put it on the board agenda. Ames Ford was the lowest we could find, and they did find an additional $2,000 per truck government discount. Government discounts have essentially gone away in the past 5 years or so for a number of reasons, but you know, the vehicle market's kind of crazy right now, crazy high. But so they came down 4,000 on the 2 trucks. So option, can't remember which option had the 2 trucks, the second option. So that is now 75,000. We only had budgeted 60,000. So we are 15,000 over. That's why I put it on the agenda for discussion. But the other item that's on the board consent agenda is a tractor we had on there, and that actually came in at 16,000 under. So
How much under did you say?
16,000.
16,000 under.
So we're essentially a wash right now. So we're with both of those, we're back on budget. So I did give the option of approving either 1 or 2 trucks, but I'd recommend going with the 2.
So option 2 is the 2 trucks.
Correct. And we have held off a while. These will both be replacing 2002 pickups. So they're 22, 23 years old and they're pretty rusty. So it's time to get, we've held off with the high prices, but at some point we gotta replace them.
Well, it's not often that anything comes in under budget, so
No.
it's kind of nice that something else came in under budget to help
Offset.
offset this. I have no questions.
Questions? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the purchase of two 2024 F-150 pickup trucks, option 2 on the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Merkin?
Aye.
Basil?
Aye.
Hens, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have discussion and consideration of a request for asset funding to hire a consultant in partnership with other asset funders. Good morning, Sandra.
The item before you today is to request to hire a consultant for asset to study homelessness in the county and also facilitate community conversations on the topic and recommend data-informed strategies and recommendations for consideration. As you are aware, the emergency shelter services RFP that we released last year did not result in an award. So since that time, the Salvation Army has sort of stepped up to fill that gap. And Asset has been providing funding to assist in their ramping up their services. But we still don't really have a good handle on homelessness in the community. Hiring a consultant will certainly help in that effort.
And will they look at not just Ames, but the entire county?
The entire county.
Any other questions?
So you're sending out an RFP for a consultant, or do you have somebody in mind? How are you selecting?
We have not worked out those details yet. The funding will give us the flexibility. We could look for quotes. We could do an RFP. We really just need to kind of get out there and see who might be available to do it.
Do you know of any other communities who have done this approach? Is there a model for this?
I don't think we know that yet. There is a regional study out there, but I don't know how specific it has gotten to individual counties. So that's information that we will continue to learn along the way, but I'm not
Okay.
aware of that at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
I have no questions.
I have no questions. I would move approval of the request of Asset for funding to hire a consultant in partnership with other asset funders.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Basil?
Aye.
Merkin?
Aye.
Hens, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
We have no departmental reports or other reports. Any upcoming agenda items?
No.
No. Supervisor Merkin?
Not yet.
Not yet. I know of one, I spoke with HR this morning. Usually we have something on the agenda regarding if employees want to participate in United Way Day of Caring and the process to talk to their department head or elected official. It missed getting on today's agenda, so that will be on next week's agenda. And United Way Day of Caring is September 13th. If folks are already looking at wanting to participate or if they've already signed up, that it will be on the agenda. With that, it's time for public comment number 2, comments from the public on items not on this agenda. The board may not take any action on the comments due to the requirements of open meetings law, but may do so in the future. If anyone would like to make public comment and you're in the public meeting room, please come forward to the table, or if you're online, please raise your hand on Zoom. And seeing none, we'll close public comment number 2. Time for liaison assignments, committee updates and announcements. Supervisor Merkin, would you like to start?
Have some calls this afternoon, continuing to work on the digital equity grant, making some progress there. Tomorrow, I will be in a meeting all day, a statewide watershed management authority meeting, which is taking place at the Ames Library. Thursday afternoon, I'll be going to Cambridge. The University of Iowa public health folks are going to be there to do another disaster. It's called a program called PrepWise. It's disaster preparation for residents. And I'm going to sit through that. And we're trying to work on a plan to get some more sessions going around the county. and make this a countywide project. And we're working towards that right now. Friday, I think I've got a Zoom meeting or two. And then next Monday is Labor Day, so the county will be closed.
Supervisor Faisal?
Yep, this afternoon I have a Go Green Team Subcommittee meeting. Tomorrow I have a Nevada Economic Development Commission meeting. And then tomorrow evening I have a CCJ board meeting. Thursday, I'm hoping to attend the PrepWise presentation in the afternoon. And then Thursday evening, I have a CFR board meeting. Friday, I don't have any meetings, just a couple Zooms, and then off to through the weekend, and then hopefully we'll have a grandbaby on Tuesday.
I have Communities of Excellence Advisory Committee meeting this afternoon over at Mary Greeley. Tomorrow morning, I have a dental appointment, and then I'm going to attend a YSS discussion on behavioral health. Thursday morning, I have Central Iowa Workforce meeting, and then I have a CICS board meeting. And nothing on my calendar as of yet for Friday, but it's only Tuesday, so it certainly will change. And next week, I will Zoom into the meeting, Supervisor Merkin, if you will chair that meeting. I will be out of state, but will be partaking on meetings via Zoom. So, and if there is nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Merkin,
Aye.
Basil,
Hi.
Adams, aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.